What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here. We got another video today. We're doing our Clemson, Florida State preview prediction video with the football expert. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 6,000 subs by the end of October. Check out the link, the description for links to our shop, podcast, website, Patreon page, and our college football roundup channel. And go ahead and let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can just type college football expert into the football expert into the search bar on YouTube. You can find it right there.
Yep. So make sure you check us both out. Help us hit our subscriber goals. But let's go ahead and jump into today's video. We got Clemson versus Florida State. Should be a good game if you're a Tiger fan. That's what I'm thinking. So what are your just general thoughts as we get started just on this game?
Well, as you're looking at the Florida State team, you're looking at a team that has just been an utter disaster throughout this season. You had the upset against Georgia Tech early on in the season, then the Boston College upset. Finally got your first win against Cal, and then you have another loss against SMU. This is just a team that just straight up is not playing well, does not look good on offense, has all sorts of issues on defense. The wheel routes against Boston College were horrendous. The coverage on go routes is horrendous. The defensive line is terrible rush attack wise. Maffa's going to have himself a game. I don't know what you're looking at positive wise for these Noles as they come off a 42-16 beatdown against SMU, where they just did not look even half decent in that game. On the other hand, Clemson, after the beatdown that they got from Georgia in week 1, has looked much improved, both on the offensive end. Cade has been able to use his ability with his legs to be able to make plays happen. But they also have not played anybody particularly of dominance since then. But Florida State, that isn't going to change this week either. Clemson, as long as they continue their streak of playing well offensively between the Stanford game, the App State game, the NC State game, the offense has looked good and the defense has looked about as expected. So,
yeah, I agree. And yeah, Florida State might end up being the worst team that we've played all year so far. Honestly, them and App State would be a miserable game to watch. But
App State isn't even a good Sun Belt team anymore.
No, we thought they would be, but they weren't. And that would be a miserable game to watch. Who even knows what would happen in that one? But yeah, you mentioned it with the coverage of Florida State. I think guys like Wesco and TJ Moore are going to have huge games going. I mean, we've seen it. They've hit Wesco every single game now since that Georgia game deep down the field for deep shots. I think they're going to hit him more in this game too. Just Florida State cannot cover down the field. Would not be surprised at all if Cade Klubnik comes out and throws for 300 yards and Maffa runs for 150. Like, this Clemson offense is probably going to put up 600-plus total yards. This Florida State defense, they can't stop anybody. They just can't. They're like the immigration policy right now, just letting everybody through. It hasn't been good for Florida State. And then you look offensively for them. I don't see how they're going to move the ball on this Clemson defense. The one thing I will say for Clemson is you got to get the run defense straightened up a little bit. It's been good this year. Stanford had a little bit of success against you last week. I think they ran for, I think it was close to 200 yards, might have been a little bit over it. Now, a big part of that was the quarterback run, which you're not going to have to worry about in this game. DJ's not going to take off and outrun guys to the edge for 20-yard runs. He's just not. The only way that DJ breaks off 20-yard runs is just strictly if you have bad tackling.
Yeah.
So should be good in that aspect. I don't see him being able to put the points on the board. I think this is going to be another beatdown for Florida State, another dominant win for Clemson. It's just I don't think Florida State's going to be able to compete.
Yeah, so as we're looking at this game, we'll get into 3 keys here. We'll have Lincoln will do the Clemson 3 keys, and then I will try Florida State's 3 keys. Lincoln, why don't you get us off here? First 3 keys to the victory for the Tigers.
Yeah, so I'll start with my first key to the game is just start fast offensively. And that's kind of been a key for Clemson that I've had the last few weeks. But in this game, Florida State, they're coming in. The team doesn't have a whole lot of confidence. If you come in and throw a pick on your first drive, something like that, you don't want to give them any confidence. They already have none. You don't want to build them up. You want to come in and just stomp them down even more. and just put it on them. I mean, we've outscored. We actually haven't allowed a point in the first quarter all season defensively, because it was 0-0 at the end of the Georgia game, first quarter in the Georgia game. I'm trying to think. It was 35-0 against App State, 28-0 against NC State, and then 10-0 against Stanford at the end of the first quarter. If we can come out and start like we did in those games in this first quarter and just put them away from the beginning, and just completely ruin their confidence. That Florida State sucks this year, but that place is still going to be loud. It's still Clemson coming in. They don't like Clemson. I would still expect a solid crowd, a solid crowd down there. Now, I think you're going to have more Clemson fans down there than you would have had Florida State been 4-1 instead of 1-4. But I still think it's going to be a pretty good Florida State crowd. So if you can go in there and just shut them up and don't give them any confidence, just go ahead and put them away in the first quarter. I think that'll be good for the Tigers.
Yeah, so focusing on Florida State, first key has to be you got to limit the big plays. You can't be allowing 60, 70-yard bombs down the field. You can't just let Cade run for a 25-yard run there and a 35 run there and 27 there. You can't allow those big plays. You got to limit the big plays. Number two, you gotta limit the turnovers. You got to stop you can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can't be giving up pick sixes like you saw against SMU. And the third and the final key is hope that Clemson makes some mistakes.
Yeah.
Like you gotta hope Clemson makes mistakes going into this game, and you gotta play mistake-free football, and just kind of hope for the best, because Florida State talent-wise has some ability to do things, but they've made so many mistakes that you're just going to also have to rely on other teams to make mistakes. So those are the three keys for Florida State.
Yep, and then my second key for a Clemson win, when I look at this game, you got to stop the run game. I just talked about it with some of the big plays they gave up in the run game against Stanford. Let them move down the field. Got to stop the run game. This Florida State team cannot complete a forward pass. I don't care. I don't care who's going to start, whether it's DJ or the backup. They said either one could start. Is it Brock Glenn? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter who they start. They're not going to be able to throw the football very effectively. So don't let them get a run game going, because that'll be their only offense. If you give them a run game, then they're going to be able to move the football some on you. If you can find a way to take that back, I mean, you can put 8 in the box. Yeah. They can't throw the football. And when they do throw the football, it's usually behind the line of scrimmage or just in front of the line of scrimmage. So they're going to be close. They're going to be playing short passing game, because, I mean, they can't do anything else other than that. So stop the run. Don't give that offense any sort of momentum, any sort of drive that they can put together. I don't as a Clemson fan, I'll be disappointed if we give up more than 10 points in this game. And honestly, 10 points is a little much for what, I mean, Memphis held them to 12.
Yeah.
Memphis gave up 56 to Navy. Something like that. Yeah. 10 points would be a little more than I'd like. I think it's a real chance that Clemson goes in there and completely just shuts them out. No, you got to stop the run game. And then the third key for me is the opposite of your third key. Don't make mistakes. Yeah. This team's terrible. The only way that you go in there and you lose this game is if you beat yourself. Mm-hmm. Just play smart football. Nobody needs to play hero ball. You're playing a 1-4 Florida State. Just be smart, make plays, have fun, let it all out there. But just be smart. Don't make any mistakes. Limit the turnovers. If you have one, probably not going to kill you. I mean, with this offense, 4 probably won't kill you, but we don't want 4 turnovers. We don't want to give them a chance. Just don't go out there and beat yourselves. So now as we move in, let's go ahead and give our score predictions for this game. I'll let you go first with it.
I think that the score for it, I think Clemson's able to get the passing attack going. I think that Florida State's going to struggle on all sides of the ball. I just do not see Florida State playing well here, and I think Clemson, they don't like Florida State. I got 59-10 written all over this game.
Yeah, so we're going to have similar scores here. I agree with a lot of your points. I mean, Garrett Riley, you can tell this is the Garrett Riley offense we were all waiting for as Clemson fans. Yep. Not these bubble screens and halfback dives. Yep. This is Garrett Riley's offense. It's rolling right now. Everybody's confidence is up offensively. I got Clemson winning this one 52-6. I think they just blow Florida State out. I don't know if Florida State can even score on second-team defense. It's going to be rough for Florida State. We'll see if the guy reading the book is back in the stands from a few years ago when it was I think it was 52-10 that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see this game being close. If it's close, then as a Clemson fan, I'm going to be very worried for the rest of the season going forward. If this is the close game, I think we'll be okay. So yeah, 52-6 is the final score for my prediction. You said what, 59-10?
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up today's video. You guys make sure you leave your score prediction in the comments below. Subscribe to both American Football Network and the Football Expert. And we appreciate everybody tuning in.